Hi, good evening. So I'm back. Actually, as you can probably tell, like, not live because I want to get a couple of things out in a timely fashion. I've been running the marathon the past let me try that again. Hello. Sorry, the volume was down pretty low. It's pretty low. So hi again. You probably heard me, but it might have been muffled. Maybe it even wasn't, but I'll just repeat myself because I feels like it. Hey, it's been a little bit busy. And there's a lot of things I want to do, especially before I'm out of town again for another week. And I don't want to fall off. I think what I might even have to do, because I don't want to commit to, like, unless I have a really good way of like doing this, I really want to just take in the experience. So I'm thinking about maybe line up a few things I want to talk about for some time, and I could just maybe release them on the days that I'm gone. Anyway, goodness, blah 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 blah. So lots been going on. I didn't, I think I might go back and edit this video to make note. So if anybody sees this now in the interim, if they want to watch I happen to be getting home, I think from work, or was that yoga? I don't remember where I was. And I was coming home and I saw Dennis Dale was live. And I think actually I might have referenced that in the last video. I think I did. But again, I'll link it again so if anybody wants to take a listen. Because I'm thinking I'm going to see if Dennis would want to do that again, like just chat, maybe a little more structure, not me like all over the place. Um, so also over kind of back in the rest of the Lucasphere, the Luke Ford sphere. So Brundlefly is kind of stepping down from the co-hosting post. That was kind of caught me off guard last night during the Patrick Little interview. Was that last night or night before last? Anyway, I want to come back. I have some notes on the interview with Patrick Little, who's running for the Senate or House of Rep state assembly. I can't remember exactly who he's running for in California, but I definitely have a point that I wanted to address. I didn't catch the whole thing, but it's crazy. I caught one point that I heard quite a few people talking about, and I was definitely taken aback. So anyway, so I have a couple more things coming up tonight. I wanted to, since Anne's comment and emails are both from like 2 days and a day ago, I didn't want anything to go any further. And I think since I'm still at a point where, like, I'm not like, getting like thousands of comments. I couldn't always go through. And I love, that's why my favorite thing about articles and videos, reading the comments. Like, I live in the comment section. Even if I don't always comment, I just like reading what people say, thinking about it always gives me other things to consider. So anyway, without further ado, the first comment, and I'm just here in my like creator studio thing pulling these, they're from two different videos. Hope y'all don't mind. So the first one was from Anne Vogelpohl. And it reads, the main reason, now this is on the Black women, it's also what maximize my, I was like, stop before I start talking. Hey guys, so I hear myself, I never get over when I hear myself playing back. I'm like, who's this girl? So this is from my video, The Black Woman Carrying Stigma Like a Rat Carries Plague, Part 1, Weight and STDs. And this is the comment. The main reason Black men got away with profiting from the tarnishing of the Black woman's image is the trust Black women have had of Black men, seeing them as her only ally in this society. Black women thought, since those behaviors applied to a few of them, they did not apply to the whole. Blacks as a whole care about image more than any other group, and Black women underestimated how the world actually viewed them through entertainment and media. Spot on comment. And again, like, I've done this with a few in the past, some are earlier videos where I kind of go back on a comment that was left and kind of go through it. I think I'm gonna make more of a habit of this. Maybe just like a week, maybe like my weekend review, and see what people write and leave that I kind of want to maybe delve into. So starting here, the trust issue is big, and actually tonight I'm gonna go back and find this. Maybe I'll listen to this before I go to bed. The Cynthia G live stream tonight, because Shady Egypt Band left one of her, she just put like a 30-second video earlier, just like some screen grabs of the comments in the stream. And I think it was called Are They Waking Up? Are They Getting It? Whatever. And I was like, whoa. I had put money on it that it was going to take Cynthia G like I was like, okay, 2 years from now she'll be over here, quote unquote. But man, I think she's exceeding my expectations swimmingly. There was a moment I was like cooking and I was making dinner tonight, and I caught that. I was like, in my head, I'm like, oh, and that is not to insult. Now, all of you, especially Black women who happen to watch these videos, the circles we run in. So when I say this, please take this with the biggest grain of salt you can, because I'm just saying this in the most general type of very like 1, 2, 3, go, without any nuance, without any contextualization, nothing. I'm just saying this. There was a moment or two where I'm like, oh my God, she sounds like goddamn Kendall St. Charles. A very, like, if Kendall St. Charles is like, in New York City, Cynthia is like, think about the distance. There's still the distance, but she's moving in that direction. Well, she probably is. And see, that's the thing. I hate to go off this tangent. I really should address this separately, but I was thinking about this tonight when I was getting prepared for these videos. The warp speed, and Ann X was talking about this yesterday too. The warp speed that it seems like Black women are moving at. And it's like, even in what's happening, it's not even just the swirlers, it's not just the pro-Blacks, there's just this kind of like everyone's seeing the same thing. And it's like almost like you see those big watering holes, like in the Serengeti or someplace, you see all these animals around it. There's some, lemurs over there, there's a seal over there, there's an elephant there. They're all different types of animals, but there's this one watering hole that they all kind of drink from, and some of them are kind of a little further away, some very much so, some a little bit closer. There's some overlap, but they're all drinking from the same watering hole. And it's so it's like I'm seeing Black women from these different areas come and be drinking from the same water hole. They don't have to be the same animal, they don't have the same goals, same agenda, whatever, but it's very, very interesting watching this happen. So let me not go off on that tangent now. That definitely deserves maybe a more separate treatment, but let me just focus in here on Ann's comment, more specifically. So the tarnishing the Black woman's image and the trust issue. The one of the lessons I wholeheartedly agree with this and see this, and one just offhand example that I can give right now is just look at the rap and hip hop music industry and the image of Black women. And this is where, this is especially with Black women and Black mothers and those before us didn't own up to this. One of the big things one thing that I see that happened was, it was nice when your son or even your daughter, she got to come up for singing backup vocals, which led to a little bit of a more of a career. Maybe she bought you a condo. You became really popular amongst your friends because your daughter sang a song or two that got big. She became some local star. Your son became a rapper, or even over in the sports industry. You put him. He went through K-12. You worked, your post office, city government, whatever job, and got him through school. Then he went to the NBA, bought you a mansion or a Lexus. The benefit that people were able to derive. And so Black women, particularly now with sports, you can just argue, okay, the worst that happens is somebody comes with some concussions, some injuries later on down the road. But with the rap game, particularly when it degenerated completely into the thuggery, the murder, the violence, and all that host of Blackistani bullshit that it became, Black women trusted that, and they just didn't look beyond their nose. Yes, the money was nice. Was it nice also seeing, you know, being able to eat in nice restaurants and doing stuff that the white folks have? They got gated communities. Now you're moving from like living in like kind of an inner city, and I'm not talking about just a straight hood project. I get kind of tired when even the left and the alt-right, everything is like Blacks in the inner city, and then there's no other discussion. Like a lot of normal middle working class Black people live in the inner city too. There's such a mix there. So you left like from just living in like your random like 3-4 bedroom, 2-story house in some kind of inner city quasi collar community. Now you're out in like the nice whiter suburbs because your son or made some money. And so the trust issue. So a lot of us putting too much trust in the Black man, and on top of that, all the side and tangential benefits that were derived in changing the image. It wasn't changing our image like in laboratory. It wasn't changing Black women's image as Black men started buying up local and regional car dealerships or Remax or insurance chains. It was specifically, music, entertainment, and in those types of industries, because they don't command any other industries or anything like that. So and so the trust thing is so tricky, and when you say that, it's like I think of like 1,000 things. So, and the big thing, oh, this is key. So, Anne, I want to do a video on this finally. I might even, maybe I'll do it tonight because I've thought about this for months now. Bone Thugs and Harmony's first of the month. There's a couple of songs, and I'm gonna give a shout out here to Lady Quiet Storm because she's just done some videos. She did a breaking down the lyrics of Bodak Yellow by Cardi B, and a couple of these songs really deserve that type of really pulled apart, you know stanza by stanza examination. And I'll just say this: we move from this. The big part of the reason that I think Black women and the trust issue that you're relating here in this comment is so key is because we go ahead to song Bone Thugs and Harmony first of the month. The whole tone of that song and everything that was going on, getting a check on the first of the month, life in the average, kind of welfare, inner city, Black layabout people. It was us in it together. His ass was waiting on a check for the first of the month. Your ass is waiting on a check the first of the month. So here we are, the dot, 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 10, almost 20 years later. Now we're in this weird ass, complete bizarro world switcheroo where the Black male has betrayed the trust. And not the trust, understanding that it was us in it together. We was on the outskirts side. We was against the white man. We was broke. We was getting a check. One time I played a clip of it was a scene from a film Claudine with like James Earl Jones and Diane Carroll, because it's a great scene where they're talking about because she's on welfare and she's trying to date him, but you're not supposed to have a man in the home because you're collecting check from the government, blah blah blah. And we went from this understanding of the welfare system, welfare checks, food stamps, WIC, all that stuff was something that we were doing and using. Excuse me, which is still happening to this day, by the way. But then the trust being betrayed is reflective of what you're saying here about this image. Because at first it was you had your bottom, you had your project chick, your hood rat chick. She frying chicken on the first of the month. Y'all by the end of it trying to make $1 out of 15 cents. Let me quote my Tupac right there. That's Tupac, right? Yeah, I guess. So that trust thing is so key because the Black woman, again, like I've said a couple times, the stationary thinking, does not pay attention to what's been going on around her. We in it together against white supremacy, but she didn't see all along. Because Black women, again, I'll say again, they're willfully ignorant, they're willfully gullible and silly. The collective of Black women, and at this point, anybody doesn't see it, they deserve everything that's coming to them. But you didn't see the we was slowly becoming you were the one sitting here taking Uncle Sam and Aunt Samantha. You were taking Uncle Sam's welfare money and Aunt Samantha's feminism. You the one holding the back for that. Now, never don't forget though, they was in line to eat the big piece of chicken on the first of the month on the Uncle Sam's dime too. Were and to this day, some of them stay laid up within somebody's house on welfare. And I keep wanting to ask myself, so you tell me some woman who looks like Naomi Campbell, you found out she was wearing a weave or received some type of like WIC or welfare, you wouldn't date her or like have sex with her? Anyway, break it off into a tangent. Let me get back on the point. So the main reason that they got away with profiting from the tarnishing the Black woman's image is the trust Black women have had of Black men, seeing them as their only ally in society. Yes, yes. And off of that, this is something I had to really sit with because one day I had this thought when I was working on something. I was like, well, think about it. I think one of the other big things you can attribute especially in the American sense. I can't speak for other people in the diaspora or anywhere else, but particularly at this point, because I think it only maybe relates to us. I always wondered, and I don't know how we'll even discern or prove this, that the reason that under slavery, and particularly before we get to like the 50s or so, maybe the 60s, when we the last of that type of, the idea of the Black woman working, on plantations or working as a free Black person during the slave period, because not every Black person was a slave, by the way. Working as domestics, working, being in proximity to white culture and white standards in a time before, everything starts to like, by the time we get to 50s and 60s, particularly where all that diminishes, we hit the deconstructionism of just basic white Western civilization and everything, monogamy, marriage, the nuclear family, even though that's really only kind of anyway. When the Black woman lived on plantations alongside, white women, we talk about how, big and bad and mean it was. Yeah, I bet in some cases it was. I mean, a lot of cases it was like anybody's normal goddamn day life. but you saw Miss Sarah get married. Even amongst probably more poor, probably like, the Scots Irish, working poor, poor whites, there were certain standards that everyone adhered to. And I believe that being in more closer proximity to whites, then black women, if you like, for instance, you got hand-me-downs from, like, the white people that you work for or something, you were able to take those home and use them as benefit. um, Even when it came to the men, I mean, we talk. I've made this point before, and I have to make this again at some point. So you think, same with so we take the Eldridge Cleaver quote. That he was practicing on raping poor black girls in the inner city, in the hood, before he started raping white women. So if we extrapolate that out, just based on what we kind of have historical notes and points that lead us to this, all those lynchings weren't just for no reason. Because I always thought, do you really think, in the era when there was still outdoor plumbing, by the way, people just really felt like round up a bunch of their friends to get on horse to go ride around and chase niggas around? Like, does that really make any sense to you? Now, does that mean that there were injustices carried out? Of course. I think I've told this anecdote before. I've met someone white and Southern, told a story about his great great uncle, or great 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 probably uncle, who was lynched because his wife was cheating on him. He found out, he killed her. They took him to jail, but her family and people got rounded some of their friends up, went to the jail, busted him out, and they lynched him. And these are white people. And he closed out the anecdote saying, they used to lynch horse thieves. That, I was watching some old movie on, like, what's that channel that shows up, that, not the cable one, but like the free local TV when they show all those old movies, Me TV or whatever. And I remember watching it for like about 20 minutes in the middle. And it was this whole thing about these guys who were stealing horses. Like, that used to be a goddamn big deal. I hate people just say, oh, film must be real life. But anyway, so I'll leave that. There's her only ally in society, but that is exactly, in a way, that is what happened, though, because I'd argue without the constraints of, it's what the invisible yet visible hand of white, paternalism, and white men leading their societies. In the Western societies, they built in a certain way where the buck stops with them, and everyone, I hate to say the word below, but below and beyond that, had to answer to someone. There was a time that was probably a time where, in the slow removing of that rule, particularly the past 100 years, if not a little bit longer, has yet led her to her only ally in society. But as we all know how that turned out not to be true, and much more beyond that. So I'll move on from there. Black women thought since those behaviors applied to a few of them, they did not apply to the whole. Bam. And that's what so much of, I think, when everyone looks back maybe a decade from now in this period, black women, black men, the internet, YouTube, social media, all the stuff, everything that's been said. It's funny, we all kind of are just hearing these moments, but I just thought that. What is it going to look like a decade from now when we look back at this time? Because things will be different. It will still have social media, things will still be, I wonder, I mean, if you had told me the conversation would be the way it is now 2 years ago, I'd be like, oh, whoa, really? But a decade from now, it'll be great to look back. What you're saying right there, Ann, kind of hones right back in to initially what a lot of us maybe 2 or so years ago were saying when some of us were coming off of the Tommy Sotomayor videos. Because the thing is, your statement right there is a great point from time for me to say this. Because I can just tell you what I thought very briefly. So, I talked about my own kind of politicals, ins and outs here and there. And I know I mentioned this to Dennis on Friday, but I was a I was a normal black Democrat because I was a liberal. I'm black and blah blah blah. Then, I've always kind of been a race realist. I think I always understood something was wrong with black people and myself in relation to race, but I just didn't have the framework or the language to describe it. So then, about, like I say, like 5 or 6 years ago, American Renaissance stuff black people don't like, or like two sites to kind of open up so much language and give me a way to kind of see things and to kind of, view them. And it's like, and for people who go, oh, well, IQ isn't all this, or race isn't all that. Again, the theory of relativity, or theory of the theory of, not the theory of gravity, Newton's law. Like, we have an idea of what gravity is, and we test it. We know how these things work. Is it the most airtight thing in the world that we can certify? We always say it's 100%. No, and there's some variances. There's still things that we don't know. Things we still don't know about the human brain, but it gives us an outline. So, woo. I didn't make too many notes on this one because there's only 2 comments. I can just move through these, and riff off of them, but I don't want to go too long. So, yes. So then I'm that person watching those videos because, like, yeah, the Black community, we need fathers in the home, Democrat plantation. So I moved through those periods. So the whole fathers in the home, bastard baby makers versus children, Black single mom thing, because I've mentioned this now probably in a few conversations in my own family life. And I kind of jumped right into those arguments too. So I can see where a lot of women who sit on that side come from, because so I can see it, and I felt that way too. And then it didn't apply to me. I had a 4.0 in high school. I went to college, had a bachelor's degree. I'm like really nice, sweet, and fun and kind, and I don't walk around, frowning, fussing, and cussing. I'm not in a World Star Hip Hop video. I'm blah 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 blah, all that stuff. And I know a lot of Black women who probably listen to me, who run these circles, and anyone can attest to this because a lot of us were those women. Or we weren't completely, like, I was never a mammy. I was always like out with like white people, white friends, white dates, white people, and kind of a hipster indie Oreo kid. So it's weird. Like, I'm still figuring that out, because a lot of those things you kind of carry as a Black woman. Like, I didn't realize I was still carrying until even within the past year or two that I really understand this now. But yeah, it didn't apply to me. And even not just because I was a good Black girl and I had a good Black man, or I'm a good Black mother to my single Black son, or I go to a good Black church. I'm not one of them girls twerking at the club. I'm over here like at a punk rock show. I'm over here, playing beer pong at my like majority white college. I'm not one of them. It only applies to them chicks over there. So it was even more of a distance I could put, but I could still say those things that I just knew it didn't apply to me. So I totally see that. And when you said that, I was like, yes, that's a lot of what this is. And we're such a race of people as a whole, Black men, Black women, everyone involved, of this kind of like, well, that nigga over there, well, I like that. We're just such a people like that too, where that kind of thought process can be very lethal. So that's what kept so many Black women. And then you add in some of the big things like the big Black church, baby Jesus, Christian hooey shit that keeps Black women stagnant. Even when something's wrong, I feel like since most other races, particularly white women and whites in general, they can kind of go to church and leave it at church. They can go to church because they network there. They can go to church because they just do. They're not going to they don't kind of live the way we do, like, especially the way too many Black women do, talking about the blood, washing the blood of Jesus, tithing $5. They can barely keep a roof over their head or afford a pack of smokes. So it's really easy for us to like to hold on to a lot of like childlike things that don't apply, because we just go bury our head into like loving the Lord and just burying our heads in the sand. I mean, we do it in other ways that have nothing to do with God or Allah or whoever, but that I think because so many of us were known to be the face of the church, we're such a church, we're so known to be a church going population of people as a race and as a gender. So we can really say, well, it doesn't apply to me, especially when you're sitting there thinking, you're Miss Church girl. Anyway, so Blacks as a whole care about image more than any other group, and Black women underestimated how the world actually viewed them through entertainment and media. Yes, yes, yes. Because again, it's like the past 30 years, particularly if you like, because Kendall did one of her last videos or one of her series before she left. She did a really great point about just follow the music. Because I made this point before, like the Diana Ross is like there's you'll still find obviously you're getting older now as time moves on. You find some older white guy. I just thought Diana Ross, I had such a crush on her. Donna Summer, oh my god, because I was thinking there's some other Black woman like that kind of fits that definition I was looking for. Donna Summer, you'll still white men will tell you, oh, I love Donna Summer. When I was a boy, I loved Donna. So I had a crush on her. I was going to marry Donna Summer. Donna Summer, Donna Summer. And so, and the longer, and you saying that, the longer I think about that, there's so much more there, and that this is a lot more of a setup. The setup is also such a chance of circumstances. Like if we hadn't gotten the cassette, if the cassette tape hadn't come, it come 10 years later than it did, which means that then the compact disc didn't come any later. That came another 10 years or so later, and so on and so forth. The technological advances that move up so fast make they fall right in time for this message to change and spread exponentially amongst populations of people, leading us to about the early to mid 90s, and forward, where then things become digital and messages, memes, meaning making can move so much faster. So then I can draw this back to that point I made in that Jungle Fever video. Black women sitting in their living room. Now again, it's a movie, but they did say that it was, a lot of Spike Lee kind of like some of his scenes, the stuff that he does in some of those films, a little more improv-y. And obviously that conversation, as we all know, is based on a lot of like actual lived experiences that Black women have shared. If you're sitting there complaining about this in 1980s, we all know that Quincy Jones, some names are escaping me. I don't want to get stuck. Like Quincy Jones was already with Peggy Lipton and other non-Black women already at that time. Hell, the whole Eartha Kitt, Harry Belafonte thing that happened back in the 50s. So you can't tell me Black women weren't too aware. I just half of them aware, just didn't want to admit it. And you get points for just keeping it on and keeping on. It was easy just to keep having babies with Black men, maybe married to them, maybe not. Again, then looking at the recent Beyonce shift, where you get to like all the drunken love and the whole lemonade, the whole pain porn, Black women pain porn symposium. It's easier just to go along to get along and not really care, because it takes energy to go against the tide, to like change things. Anyway, so they didn't really understand that the media, it's twofold what you're saying here, because yes, they didn't understand that they didn't see that the world does not view our oppositional attitudes the same way, and the way that we do things, and it only really worked for us in the American sense, where it actually didn't work. What made it even worse is that they didn't see the slow dagger underneath the cloak, where they were already divesting from you, and taking their leap out to other women, and just checking out of, and the thing is, it was never, I hate this too, like they just left the homes and they just started leaving us for white women. The whole thing kind of implies that there were all these cohesive nuclear family Black units. Then all of a sudden these winds of change, feminism or race mixing or whatever, came and just whoosh, and then I really hate that, because it just kind of gives this weird origin story that doesn't mean, it's just too hard to just say like, oh, this happened, then ... But anyway, to avoid that, I guess I'm saying here at that last point that you're making is they didn't understand that these things, like the standard, well, again, because think about She's a Brick House. From that to Sir Mix-a-Lot's Baby Got Back, and onwards from there. And I mentioned that last video, Gangster Bitch. Man, that song's probably just old enough. There's no real copyright on it anymore. I don't think I get a copyright strike for that one. Maybe I'll play that. We could just, I'll say that for the music series, because you talk about Trap Queen now, like this is all something new. This is even from the 90s. I was telling Dennis, like, I'm a little sentimental about some of the stuff from the 90s. Maybe I'll just do like a 90s series of just like a few music videos and songs that are still in here that I think are kind of tell parts of the story. But so, in closing, Black women didn't understand that this stuff was not going to be cute. One, and then two, one other way to look at this is the world starts to come to look, and particularly here in America where we are. Think about by the time you get from the twerking and the really kind of raunchy, sexy stripper culture that moves from like the dirty strip clubs all the way through the rock scene, through the rap scene, to where your suburban mom, between getting a frappuccino at Starbucks, is taking like a pole dancing class or a twerking class. Hell, I was at yoga a month or two ago, and this white woman was like, they were talking, we were in the changing room. She's like, oh yeah, I'm taking this twerking class, because apparently, like, it's supposed to be really good for your legs or whatever. I mean, yeah, and it's just like, this is like one of them kind of, it's not a total hippy dippy place where I go. I mean, I guess yoga always comes with those connotations, but they didn't realize that, oh, so you doing this for free, or doing it for Scooby snacks, or to be some baby mama in the hood, on the free. By the time this product that you basically are the face of for the wrong reasons, this white woman gonna be over here in the suburbs 10 years from now, teaching these at the local YMCA to other like white suburbanite women, most likely with rings in their fingers and with a marriage contract, and you just gave this away for free. And then they're still thinking that they're, the Black male singing that and rapping that is so cool, cute and so cool, but you just a fat nappy headed BT 1000 sitting here with nothing to show for it. So they didn't see what was going to really come. And we know there were already voices and there were ways that this could have been avoided. But again, so many Black women don't want to tell the truth. And some of our mothers and grandmothers before us didn't want to tell the truth. We're kind of like stuck here in this hole. So the second comment comes from email. And saying I know Simone 56 is. Oh, yeah, I meant to give a heart before. It's weird, like it's upvote, but I like how they. I guess it's a mark that the content creator really like what you said. Wait. So this is part. Oh, these are comments in part 2. So this is part 2 of the looking at what I say here. Yeah. Okay. So emails comment. Hi, do you think you could get Jared Taylor to come on for an hour? Maybe Kendall, Miss Archduchess, 12, Virgo, Nicole, and so to listen. Not even join? Just you talking to him? I think it would be a really cool conversation if you could. I know he's hard to get on. Have you tried at all explaining your positions uniquely as a Black woman? Hope you're well. Email, I hope you listen to this. And I'm so glad you left that comment. And that's specifically why I'm going to close this video, because there is a reason that your comment is very significant. And I'm trying to decide how much I want to say. It's motivating me to do something I haven't done in a while. And actually, there's something I could show you guys here on my channel. But there's something I need to take care of first. And then because your comment is very key. And it's an amazing suggestion. But just know that your comment is definitely noted. And I think it's a sign that there's something I need to do. And I need to get on and stop putting off. And maybe within... Okay, because I have a trip in a week or so. Maybe by the time I get back from my trip, I'm not gonna forget your comment. Maybe I'll have something to share with you and with the channel beyond that. And maybe before that, I just want to play this out because I read your comment. I read it like a day ago because, again, I've been really busy. They come on my notification on my phone, but I usually don't engage the app that way, YouTube that way too much. Plus, anyway. So your comment is noted, and I'm going to reflect on that and do a couple things. And I will have hopefully something to say about that soon. If not soon, I might, maybe there's something that was, hey, there's something I could share with the channel that you guys might find interesting. And then 2, just beyond that, there's something else that I want to do in relation to that. So maybe I'll share the thing with you guys first, or maybe I'll work next week or so while I'm here for another week, then I'm gone out of the country for a week, then I'm back. I'll work some channels just sometime this summer. And if I never say anything again, the whole plan went to crap and I'll never speak of it again. But I have a feeling that wouldn't be the case. But I've read your comment thoroughly. It's well noted. Just check back. Just stay with me here. Stay subscribed. Stay liking, sharing, and subscribing. Let me think about that, because it's very interesting you said that, because I've been thinking about that for a bit, and I was like, man, I can't leave email left this comment. Anywho, I'm going to cut this really quick and tight. I like to say my long goodbyes and all that jazz way too much. So what I'm going to do is leave it here, because what I want to do is make a few other notes, and I want to come back with 2 other things to say. It's weird because I keep forgetting when I'm not live. You can tell I'm not live. This just shows up the video to you, but I use that same function to just record now. So I keep saying this to you guys like, wait, I'll be back in a minute, I promise. But I don't need to say that. So let me log off, gather my notes, and let's make this a lucky number 3 night. So come on back and I'll be back. Sorry, that was so awkward. Okay, peace. Back in a bit.